arguably the worst prime minister since his father, arguably even worse given what's happened in the last year. During his time in office, he's infused the federal government with every latest leftist woke trend, scrubbing our country of its proud traditions, apologizing on behalf of every other Canadian. But for himself, he never takes responsibility for his scandals, for his ethical violations, or for the old boys club liberal corruption that he has re-implemented. He's racked up more debt than anyone thought imaginable. He's plunged our country into economic instability with out-of-control inflation, higher taxes, anemic growth rates, and an out-of-control housing bubble and cost of living bubble. Interest rates are going up, things are getting even more expensive, and in all likelihood, our country is on the verge of another crushing recession, all with Justin Trudeau at the helm, who frankly has no idea how to get us out of this or how to change course. Meanwhile, Trudeau's stomped on our civil liberties, he's used wartime measures against peaceful protesters, and he's continued to divide the country worse than any leader in our history. Anyone who criticizes him, he calls them racist, sexist, bigots, he calls them anti-vaxxers, and of course he calls them anti-science. Trudeau is loathsome. He's a disgrace. He's no business running our country. And Canadians see this, they know this. That's why the majority of Canadians don't vote for Trudeau, they don't support him. In the last election, Trudeau won with the smallest share of the vote in Canadian history.
Blacklock's reporter says, don't do it again, talking about the convoy. House Finance Committee says Freedom Convoy crackdown must not be template for dealing with public. They are definitely using that as a template to deal with the public. They are going to demonize anybody who disagrees with them. They'll say they're terrorists, they're awful. They are trying to demonize me. I read the news. And I say, I don't think so, but fundamentally I read the news. And it's incredible that, that we in Canada need to endure a government that the modus operandi, the de facto way the default way they're going to deal with the public is basically see those white people there, they're racists and terrorists and they don't have a legitimate concern and we're never going to talk to them and we will burn our country down before we engage with them. We will call the War Measures Act in to deal with their honking. That is how committed to the insanity that they are. That's incredible. To have those people, those ideologically driven people who will do that, who will disrespect our institutions and misuse our institutions to crack down on people who are just trying to hold the government accountable for the terrible decisions they've made. Wait until people are hungry. And the problem is, at that point, if people are hungry and violence breaks out, because that's what happens when people are hungry, look at Sri Lanka, I'm not threatening anything, I'm just saying, then they'll use that as an excuse to say, see, we were right all along, the convoy was dangerous, and therefore, here's a new emergency act, because, now ministers are getting, something bad is happening. And again, if hungry people are desperate, they're gonna take it out on their leadership. So what happens then? They're going to use that to make sure that their authoritarian police state can continue. And Marco Mendes